Hey, about ready to roll out for Pickwick. And, as far as what I think's going to happen, it's Pickwick. It's going to be the 1st of June. They're going to catch them out. There'll be some guys, make some top 10s, 1 or 2 or 3 on the bank. Always is. But anytime you go to the Tennessee River, the event's going to be won out, especially, under normal conditions where it's not current related, current's not rolling or something like that. But, I've fished there a decent amount. And what I do know is even though the lake's long, I'm a little worried that it's going to fish small because I think there's 93 guys in this event. We all have electronics. We all know how to idle and look for schools. But typically these fish, they set up on the heads of something, the head of an island, the head of a point of a flat or something like that, or a swing. It's pretty easy to figure it out once you do kind of understand it, where they're going to be at. So, what I'm going to look for when I go there is just something off the beaten path, shallower, something that's not on the map, as far as just a little depression, something like that, something where I can use the community stuff a little bit, but be able to lean on the off the wall stuff. So let's get on the iPad here, ActiveCaptain. Let me show you what I'm going to be looking for. All right, taking a look at Pickwick here, I think it's roughly about 50 miles long, with the dam being on the west end and up here, the other dam on the east end. Typically where these fish are going to get at, are the heads of these islands. I actually fished that island right there, like there, these high spots out here, like the point of that. Anything that's obvious on Pickwick is really a community hole, and these fish get there, like right there. You just imagine you have all that current coming down, and there's the head of a flat right there. They're going to be there. What I have to figure out in practice is kind of what depth is the best. I'm hoping these fish are getting out there to that 25 to 30. So where there's just a lot more of that water. You see that purple, that's that 20 to 30. There's just a lot more of that water than there is the yellow and the orange. But yeah, you just got to think about the current and think about it, how it hits stuff. And that's where these fish are going to be. But it's getting warm enough. I think it's getting late enough in the year that the main river channel is going to be the big key in this event. Well, you guys saw the practice footage, and it was all, I didn't get to fish very much. The first day I made a few casts and caught some good ones. The second and third day, start to finish a practice is nothing but idling and covering water. I spent a lot of time in practice idling and trying to find something off the wall, not on the head of an island or a point or a bend or something like that everybody's going to look for. I'm a little scared because I didn't fish for a lot of the schools that I found because I was scared that if I stood up and made a cast, old Johnny across the lake sees me stand up and he thinks, he must have saw something, because a lot of us don't fish unless we see something out there. But, I think right now I probably have 15 to 20 schools. Of course, 10 or 12 of those are community holes. I mean, you just idle across one just to see if there's something there, and pretty much every one of them had a lot of fish on it. But I will say this, the shallow fishing is out of the question. I did it for 30 minutes in practice, and I just don't feel comfortable. I don't have a chance to win doing that. I want to fish deep, just all the basic stuff. Just have to make good decisions and get on the right schools at the right time. And then obviously if you get a big bite, get in the boat. Well, a lot of times I ask myself, things happen, am I lucky or am I unlucky? I caught 22 pounds the first day and then kind of stunk it up the rest of the event. So was I lucky the first day to catch 22, or was I unlucky day 2 or day 3? And that's just something, after practice, I thought that I would have enough to be up there. You know, what I really didn't account for was just the fact that, you know, when you're out there fishing one of those ledges, you don't know who else has found what you found. You don't know if the guy that's sitting there actually found what you are fishing or what he's fishing, or if he saw you sitting on it when he drove by. You just don't know the answer to that, and I honestly don't know. But, you know, what happened was the first day, perfect rotation. You know, I started on a spot, caught me 4 or 5 keepers, and then a 5-pounder, go to the next spot, catch 2 or 3 big ones, and then I'm just able to start checking schools and actually catch a big one at the end of the day. But day 2 and day 3, never had the opportunity to catch at a good fish, and never really got in a rotation. You know, the first day I'd go somewhere, there'd be nobody there. The second and the third day I would go, and there'd be somebody sitting there, and I'd have to go over here and fish something that I really didn't want to fish. I never chose to pull up and fish with somebody else. I just don't work like that. It's not good for me. But, you know, most of the big fish I caught this week, I think other than one on the jig, you know, came on a Scottsboro swim bait, 5-inch. You can actually still see the teeth marks on that thing. But, yeah, it was just one of those events where I learned a lot. I wish I would have spent more time in practice idling, or even just fishing stuff that is too shallow to idle, meaning that 4 to 6 to 8 foot. You know, Brandon Lester won it off pretty much one spot, and I really didn't think that was going to be possible there. I thought somebody would have to bounce around with some kind of special bait or something like that. But anyway, it is what it is. We got us a decent finish, and now we got a little break, and then we head north. So I'll get on the iPad here on ActiveCaptain and show you kind of how it went down. You know, for me in this event, I end up fishing more in this kind of mid-lake section here from, I think that's Beaver Creek, or Bear Creek, I'm sorry. You know, up to about the bridge. There's a couple of bends there, and there was a lot of other guys that fished there. And, you know, I had a couple of key spots that nobody found, you know, kind of where some of these ditches would go between these islands. You know, there would be a hard spot there. That's where, you know, my big stringer the first day was. The rest of it was just really running around fishing isolated things like, you know, points, stumps, and things like that. I actually had a place here in Bear Creek, you know, a real shallow flat that had a shell bait on it where, you know, I could always go there and catch some fish. So that ended up saving me for the event. But as far as I know, I think Lester ended up winning somewhere in this area here, just on a shallow shell bed. And, you know, I wish that I would have spent more time doing that, but it's always easier to learn after the event. There was just a lot of fish caught from the, you know, between the dams. The whole lake played, but Lester got us on that lower third of the lake this time.